All right, I guess we're here. How's it going, everybody? Basketball season starts like that. Alex Barth, Seth Orensky from the Clark Athletic Center on the campus of UMass Boston. Tonight, the Beacons women's basketball season gets underway as they welcome the Coast Guard Bears to Columbia Point. Seth, a little jarring start, but here we go. Basketball season underway.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen today. You have a UMass Boston team that's going to have some nerves. You see so many different new faces, 13 players who are coming in brand new to college basketball, 15 total new faces for UMass Boston. It's going to be an exciting start. There's going to be some points that they probably want to take back, but it should be a good one. You have a very experienced side versus a very young team. The Beacons very athletic, Coast Guard very disciplined. Should be a fun one to see which team can come up with a win in the first ever meeting.
So you mentioned 13 freshmen out of the 15 new faces. You also have a transfer and a redshirt now sophomore joining the team. On a team that's really lacking experience, how much are those players going to help?
Well, I think that the three seniors are going to have to take a lead. You have Katie Matthew and Raven Kelsey, two players who have been there for 3 years, have been to a conference championship. Lydia Vital comes over from Keene State. She won a conference championship a year ago, was a key player on that team. The good news is that these freshmen are experienced. They've been to state title games. They've played together a lot in AAU. You have a lot of players who played together down in the Cape with the Cape Cod Bulls. So you're talking about inexperience, but you're talking about players who have played a lot of basketball over the last 4, 5, 6 years. And it's really just containing the nerves. The good news is the Beacons have been through a couple of scrimmages. They're 2-0, so it won't be their first true test out on the floor wearing a college jersey.
We are just moments away from opening tip. More after this. Keep it here. You're watching women's basketball on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Welcome back to the Clark Athletic Center. Alex Barth, Seth Orensky, and Seth talks a little bit about the Beacons. The matchup tonight will be the Coast Guard Bears, and it's rare you see this, especially at the D3 level at this point. First matchup between these two teams.
Yeah, it is surprising. The Beacons don't play all that many teams out of the New England Women's and Men's Athletic Conference. Just one team on their schedule this year in Clark. But these two teams not separated by that much of a distance. The only problem is there's a lot of schools a little bit closer to both sides. Coast Guard down in New London, UMass Boston, just in the city of Boston alone, has a dozen different schools they can pick from. So it is a bit of a surprise, but it's two teams that are both on the rise in their conference. Coast Guard has been to the conference tournament 6 straight years, and the Beacons are a team that 2 championship appearances in the past 3 years, looking to get over the hump this year.
And you have a team in UMass Boston that's young. They have the size, the more athletic. Coast Guard has the experience. They've played together. They have the chemistry. How are those two sides going to play off each other tonight?
Well, I think for Coast Guard, you're going to see a team that's probably not going to turn the ball over that much. They're going to look to Gillian Girton early on. She's a player who does everything for them. Already holds the program record in blocks as a junior, now becoming a senior with 102. So we know what to expect out of Coast Guard. They're bringing back the majority of their core. They're going to get a lot of production from a lot of different players. For UMass Boston, it's a little bit of unknowns. The good news is thus far, they've had really good production across the board in their scrimmages, and we know the athleticism is there. The Beacons are also huge compared to previous teams. They brought in 3 5'10" players and 3 players over 6 foot, including Sarah St. Cyrin, who is available today for the first time. UMass Boston could be a scary team for some of those smaller sides. The bad news is Coast Guard has a little bit down low as well.
St. Cyrin at 6'3". She'll be easy to spot on the floor tonight, tallest player in the game. The Beacons, they don't return a lot, but they do return their leading scorer from a year ago, Raven Kelsey. She's our player to watch tonight.
And Raven Kelsey is a player who can do a little bit of everything. She's listed as a forward, sometimes plays like a guard. She can score from the perimeter, is very comfortable banging down low, and finished in the top 10 a year ago in both points, rebounds, and steals per game. A player who is kind of the emotional leader on this side. The Beacons are going to look to her to calm them down a little bit when some of the freshmen show those nerves.
The Beacons taking the floor behind us. That means it's almost time for tip-off. Keep it here after this opening tip of the UMass Beacons women's basketball season on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
I would say the biggest difference from the last season to this season is the dedication, the amount of people who are willing to get in the gym outside of practice and put the time in. Definitely trying to get the mindset right. It's definitely hard for them coming from high school and then college being a different pace, a faster pace, them needing to go at extra level. So it's a lot of just starting with the mindset and then giving that extra push and practice to go harder.
I think it's all about repetition and just like getting these freshmen the reps that they need in these like upcoming games that aren't necessarily conference games. We lost a lot of people, but that honestly might be for the better for our team right now. I'm excited about where we are, about how these freshmen look, and I think we're going to have a really good team this year. I think we just try to make practice like as competitive as possible. Everything just full speed, high speed, full intensity. Everything that we do just has to be like, if you're going to make mistakes, make them going hard. We do our best to lead by example. Me, Raven, and Lydia, like we've been around the LEC now for 3 years. Like we know exactly what to expect. So I think coming into this year, we definitely we've just been leading by example to try and show them what it's going to be like.
I think we're definitely more confident. I feel like we have a ton of people who can score the ball. We work really well together, and I feel like compared to the beginning of the season, we're really getting to know how each other plays. So we're doing a lot less thinking and more playing. I think with Keen, what really helped us was we had a lot of energy and a lot of effort in trying to instill that into all the younger kids is, I think, what's really important in trying to move forward and be successful.
I liked our defense. We're definitely more aggressive now, playing in the gaps, playing denial. So I'm looking forward to that. And then everybody can score. I believe just about everybody scored. So we're not going to have a problem putting the ball in the basket. It's about defending this year. Well, we haven't seen Shania or Sarah yet in practice, but definitely so far Joey, Gianna, and Nair, they definitely been showing that they got great hands, great moves. So we're looking forward to that.
I think Alecia, she's really stepped it up. She really worked hard over the summer, busted her butt, and did what she needed to do. And she's here. She's ready to come back and play as hard as she can. I think some of the freshmen that I've really noticed that can really do their thing is Tajay, Joey, Gianna, and I'm excited for some of the bigs that we haven't even got to see play yet.
I think it's really good because they're both very good point guards and they both work really hard, and so that forces me to work hard. And I think especially in practice, we're all making each other better, and that's only going to transition into game time when we're playing against people who might not be the same speeder as good as we are.
Especially getting to play at UMass Dartmouth is definitely a huge factor. For a lot of these girls, every gym we play in is going to be a new gym. It's going to be a new gym every single week. So definitely like getting to go there, like experience maybe even what like the LEC, like the end of the LEC finals is going to be like, is like it's kind of big for this team right now. Like they haven't really been, I know like my high school, we never went anywhere, we stayed over. So like it's a whole different thing for a lot of these girls. We're going all the way.
We're going to take it all the way.
Welcome back. There it is. Welcome back to Clark Athletic Center. Alex Barsetherensky getting you ready for tip here. Both teams in layup lines right now. And Seth, as we get a little closer, we look at what these teams were last year and how much of that will carry over to the court tonight. We start with the team stats from last season for each side. And you have a team that primarily used offense as a weapon last year against a team that primarily used their defense.
Yeah, I think you look at a Coast Guard team who struggled, but a big part of that is just level of competition. They play in the NUMAC Conference where you have a lot of really talented teams, and the NUMAC Conference also has a lot of really skilled defensive sides. You look at a team like MIT, Babson made it to the Sweet 16, whereas the Little East Conference typically a little bit higher scoring, although defense is certainly a huge thing. You look at UMass Boston in particular. From year one to year two, the Beacons averaged the exact same amount of points, 64.4. The problem for UMass Boston was that the amount of points they allowed went up by 6 points, so they finished with a negative point differential. Their rebounding also took a big hit with no Olivia Murphy. So this year, the Beacons a lot bigger and hoping to do a lot better on the boards. For Coast Guard, this is a team that probably just wants to minimize the turnovers. That's the biggest category that looks to be an issue for this Coast Guard team. 20.5 per game is just way too many. That's what the Beacons are going to look to do this year. They're going to look to speed teams up. They are going to trap some. They've got a couple of very young but very talented guards, and that's where the Beacons think that they can really cause some teams problems, because some of their bigs can also run the floor extremely well.
And there's a number that's not on there that I want to talk about, and that's assists per game. Last year, the Beacons were a great passing team. Tajay Burston no longer here. So where will that passing come from? Where will that ball handling come from? That's a major point of emphasis for me tonight.
Well, as we take a look at the team, Lee always relied on getting good passing across the board. Raven Kelsey's a decent passer. Joey Grossi, the lone non-newcomer or the lone freshman in the starting lineup today. She can pass as well. Pretty good passer for a big. So the Beacons won't have one player averaging 5 or 6 assists, but they'll probably have 3 or 4 averaging anywhere between 2.5 and 4 assists per game.
The head coaches tonight for Coast Guard, Alex Ivanchek in her 6th season, 75 career wins, and Ithaca College graduate. Shout out to the Bombers for winning their first Corsica Jug in 7 years last weekend over the SUNY Cortland Red Dragons. On the other side, Christina Baugh in her 3rd season, 25 and 29 career record. The Providence College graduate, the Friar, saw some growth last year in her 2nd year, and she seems to be getting in the swing of things here.
Yeah, it was a really difficult task for UMass Boston, losing Olivia Murphy, one of the top 2 or 3 players in program history. And the Beacons took some lumps. They had a lot of bigs who hadn't necessarily seen starting minutes have to play 25 to 30 minutes. She did a really good job recruiting. One of the biggest things, Alex, when you look at this Beacons roster, you see a lot of Massachusetts kids typically at UMass Boston. Depending on the sport, volleyball and men's hockey typically recruit a little bit more nationally than others. This women's basketball team, about a third of their rosters from the state of Connecticut, a hotbed for sports, and that was a big thing.
Especially women's basketball.
Christina Ball went out and said, I'm going to recruit as hard as possible. She did a lot of home visits. She wanted to make sure that this team had a really good chance to win, and you see it especially in the size. Shania Osborne, a Connecticut native, was getting D1 looks before she tore her ACL. Not available today, but the Beacons hope to get her back within the next month or two. Sarah St. Cyr, the 6'3" player, another talented player from Connecticut, along with Naira Mitchell. There's 3 6-footers that the Beacons brought in who all had successful high school careers. So that'll be interesting, as Christina Boss certainly took it up a notch in terms of recruiting for year 3.
The Bears of Coast Guard are coming in off an 11-15 season. The Beacons are coming off a season that saw them finish 9-17. Those numbers will be erased in a few minutes. A new slate starts tonight. Opening tip after this. Keep it here. You're watching the women's basketball season opener on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Welcome back to the Clark Athletic Center as we get ready for the opening tip. The starting lineups tonight, and we will start with the Coast Guard Bears.
Yeah, you look at Coast Guard, and we talked about it. This is a veteran group. Michaela Martinelli, a junior out of Vero Beach, Florida. Zoe Reese-Falica, she's a sophomore, but played a ton a year ago. Jill Bray's one of the team's top returners, led the team last year in assists. She's a senior out of Glastonbury, Connecticut. Gillian Girton's going to have her name called a ton today, senior out of London, Virginia. And Brianna Wood, another one of those sophomores who saw a lot of time. Their sophomores are almost a little bit more like juniors because they were forced to play right away. This is a team that brought back a lot of returners, so some of the nerves that we might see out of UMass Boston probably going to be a little bit more diminished or less obvious on the Bears side.
And the starters for the UMass Boston Beacons.
My name is Joey Grossi. I'm a freshman, I'm a forward, and I'm from Plymouth, Mass.
My name is Lydia Vital. I'm from Cambridge, Mass. I'm a senior, and I'm a point guard.
Alecia Quinones, sophomore forward from Stoughton, Mass.
Katie Matthews, senior guard, Coventry, Connecticut.
Raven Kelsey, senior guard, Boston, Massachusetts.
Those are starters for the Beacons. Raven Kelsey, you saw last, nearly averaged a double-double last year, 11 points, 9.5 boards per game. She led the team in both of those categories last season. And it's going to be her team this year. They're going to go, it seems like, as far as she'll carry them.
Well, a big part of it is the Beacons are going to need to rely on those 3 seniors for their leadership. As freshmen, Katie Matthew, Raven Kelsey were part of that team that made it to the first ever championship game, made it back as sophomores. So they're going to have to provide some of that leadership. Right now, we're going to take a break for the national anthem and back with the keys to the game as UMass Boston looks for win number 1.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
And as we get ready to go here, Seth, the keys to the game.
Well, I keep harping on it, but limit the nerve/mental mistakes. It's so huge when you talk about a team with 15 new faces. Even a player like Lydia Vital, it's the first time that she's laced them up for UMass Boston, so it might be a little bit of an adjustment period, and then get out and run. That's what UMass Boston is going to be good at. They've got a lot of players who can run the floor. They want to turn other teams over, and that's going to be a little bit more difficult against a veteran Coast Guard team. Finally minimize Girton down low. Despite the fact the Beacons have the size to potentially contain her, she's a senior. She's got senior savvy. She's going to be able to make some wily moves that some of these Beacons freshmen might not be prepared for. So you might see some Raven Kelsey on Girton at points during this game, despite the fact that Kelsey is one of the few Beacons bigs who gives up a little size to her.
As they announce the Beacons starting lineup here and we get ready to go. Again, the starting lineup for the Beacons, the freshman Joey Grossi, the senior, transfer senior Lydia Vital, comes from Keene State where she scored 10 points a game last season, averaged 32 minutes, so she's somebody you can rely on to take on a heavy workload, not get tired. Alecia Quinones, the sophomore, the former Stoughton High Knight out of the Hockomock League. She is in the lineup. Katie Matthew, the senior, and Raven Kelsey, the junior from John D. O'Brien High School, right down the road here from Columbia Point.
Alex, one player I really am excited to see is Joey Grossi. I got to see a little bit of the Beacons scrimmage against Wheelock to open their preseason. Then they took on Wellesley last Saturday, pulled out the victory. Grossi, a 1,500-point scorer, 1,500 rebounder in high school. That is a dynamic player, and she looks very good. She's got very good hands. That's something the Beacons are really happy with. Grossi, Gianna Williams, and those other bigs that haven't been practicing as much due to some injuries, all of them have really good hands. That's essential when you're looking for those passes down low. If you're unable to make the catch initially, it allows the defense to get over. If you can make a quick catch and make a quick decision, then you put a lot of pressure on the defense.
Grossi, a Plymouth North graduate from Plymouth, Massachusetts. And she heads to the circle. Looks like she will take the opening tip as she leads the team out of the huddle. The Beacons are in their home whites. They will move left to right across your screen as we go. Coast Guard in the blue with the orange trim, the colors of the U.S. Coast Guard. They will move right to left. It will be Grossi. She will jump against Girton. And we are underway the 2017-2018 UMass Boston basketball season. The Beacons starting off on defense, and Jill Bray is the ball poked away. Today's officials, William Duggan Jr., Renee Torgany, and Matthew Monies.
Yeah, nice job there by Vital coming over and poking it away as the Beacons weren't set on defense.
Inbounded to the near side corner. Falika's going to shoot from the elbow. Gets it to go.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. The Beacons deciding to go underneath the screen, and Grassi was forced to come out and guard the very talented point guard. Beacons want Grassi, to come and stay on Girton rather than forcing Vital into a difficult spot.
Grassi trying to get the ball up in the post. She is fouled and will go to the line for two. The Beacons last year shot 63% from the line. That was Christina Baugh's focus going into last season. She felt her team was leaving too many points at the stripe. It got better last year, but still room for improvement.
Yeah, and that's something that the Beacons work on every single day in practice. That's a big first point there. I think for all of these freshmen, you want to get them an early touch. You want to get them some early points just to take some of the pressure off of their backs. It doesn't matter what level it is. That first game at the next level, you're going to be a little nervous.
You can say this for Christina Baugh's team. At one point this year, they were shooting 100% from the stripe. The defensive play, it's knocked away. That's Vital, the transfer Keene State senior.
Another player the Beacons are really high on, Alecia Quinones. Played here and there as a freshman, came off the bench depending on how healthy the Beacons were, but she's looked a lot better during preseason than she did as a freshman.
Kelsey driving from the corner, kicks it back out. Quinones off the glass and in.
It's a difficult cover. She's playing the three right now, and she's quick enough to get past players, and the fact that she can hit a jump shot from 15 feet out helps her as well.
Offensive foul off the ball, and the Beacons will go down the other way. Finally get Girton a touch, and Coast Guard takes it out of their teammates' hands. Vital over half court. Moves to her right. The off-balance drive. They're going to call a jump ball on that. She had Kelsey open in the corner, elected to try to take it up and draw the foul. The ball will stay with the Beacons.
That's an odd call there. That's one of those calls where the referees admit that they're not quite sure which way it should go.
That will be out off of Coast Guard, deflected by Michaela Martinelli. Trying to get the ball into Grace Geary, number 22.
That's actually Grace's good friend, Katie Matthews.
Pardon me, Katie. I'm still stuck in last year's team. Kelsey trying to get it in the post, overshoots Grassi.
Yeah, just a little bit too quick on the pass. Grassi was also dealing with the player of players down low.
Reese Fallica passes it over the shoulder of Brianna Wood, coming the other way. The Beacons, Quinones the layup. 5-2.
Nice job there, Raven Kelsey. Despite the fact she didn't touch the ball, she was directing the break, and a good unselfish play from Matthew, giving it back to Quinones.
Jill Bray at the top, to the far side wing, down into the post, trying to get Girton going. The hook shot, no good. Rebound, Beacons. And it's Quinones with the board. Coming up the near side is Vital. Gets it into Kelsey with steam. One dribble, up and in. And Coast Guard is forced to take an early timeout. 8:08 to go in the first quarter. The Beacons storming out to an early 7-2 lead. We'll be right back. You're watching the women's basketball season opener on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Out of the timeout, the Beacons with the 7-2 lead. Seth, what sparked that early charge?
Well, Alecia Quinones has done a really nice job. She's got 4 early points. The Beacons are getting out in transition. Even that last bucket, UMass Boston didn't force a turnover, but a shot that was a little bit short. The Beacons running in transition. Kelsey playing the 4. It's a difficult cover on the other side for Jill Bray. And UMass Boston's done a nice job of getting out to a much better start than we're used to them seeing. The Beacons especially at home the last 2 years. We've seen a lot of slow starts, so the Beacons were struggling to get 7 points in a quarter. To get 7 in the opening minute and 52, Chris Ball's got to be pretty happy with that.
Bray trying to drive on Vital and was fouled. Inbound from underneath for Coast Guard. They get into the near side. Look out to the top. Martinelli off the screen, gets it underneath. The one-touch pass is blocked. Beacons looking for the 2-on-1. The backdoor cut, the layup. Joey Grossi with her first collegiate basket. Already has a free throw and now a field goal.
Alex, that's all about that versatility. The Beacons had a bad switch there where Matthew was stuck on Girton, but went up hard, able to get the block, and it allowed the Beacons to run in transition.
Vital already with 3 assists. That one's no good back rim. Rebound up and good. It's the first basket for Coast Guard in about 4 minutes of clock time.
Yeah, Zoe Reese-Falica coming up with the offensive board. She's got all 4 points for the Bears.
Turned over by Vital. Not sure who that pass was to. Coast Guard running the other way. And a travel is called. Martinelli didn't come up the floor with much purpose. It seemed like they were trying to slow the game down, but she walked herself into the paint and then seemed lost.
Yeah, the Beacons had a bad pass there where there was a miscommunication on the play call. Vital was looking for Quinones to go one way, it went the other way, and then it just seemed like Coast Guard, no one wanted to take charge there. So the Beacons will bring in another one of their freshmen, Megan Dixon, very talented shooter for UMass Boston.
The Hanover, Massachusetts product in for her first collegiate minute. She gets her first touch here, gives it back to Vital. Quinones to her right, gives it to Kelsey. Did Kelsey walk? Yes.
Yeah, she tried the Euro step a little bit too early there, right in front of one of the referees.
Moulinar inbounds. Flicker to Bray. Now to Wood. Wood guarded by Dixon. Off the screen, the three-pointer. Off the back rim, rebound still loose. Coast Guard, their second offensive rebound in as many possessions. Gonna chuck up another three. This one finds the bottom. The 7th point of the game, 5th, 6th, and 7th point of the game for Felica. She's getting all the scoring done right now for Coast Guard. They're back within 2.
Yeah, Vital lost Falica on that play, and a nice job by Falica, who's the only player who scored any points. She's knocked down back-to-back shots.
5 of those points have been second chance opportunities as well. Vital looking to drive, now kicks to the corner. The answer three, no good back rim. Vital coming in for the rebound. It's going to be out off Coast Guard at 5-1. She really had to be aggressive to get to that ball.
And you know what? I'm a little surprised there wasn't a call there. It looked like Vital got her hands on the ball, and then the other players charged through her. We're going to see Jelani Jackson come on for Vital right now. And I think the biggest thing that Chris Ball is asking Jackson to do is just provide a really good cover on Falica.
That shot no good, too much on it. Coast Guard goes into their half-court tempo offense. Screen to the left. They flip it back over to the right. Moulinar gives it back. Falica to Farbaugh. Trying to get it down into the post to Moulinar. Good defense from Grossi. Shot clock at 5. That one is short. Rebound loose. Diving for it. Coast Guard off the second chance. No. Rebound Raven Kelsey. The Beacons have given away this lead because they've struggled on the defensive glass. Now coming down the other way in trouble along two. The jumper is good. Megan Dixon's first basket of her college career.
Megan Dixon reminds me a lot of Katie Matthew, a spot-up shooter. She's a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, but that's what we're so used to seeing from Matthew, and she's 1 for 2.
Another three from Coast Guard. No good off the left rim, and the rebound comes to Dixon. Jelani Jackson up the floor. Jackson with the right hand. Up fake from Dixon. Kicks it back. Grossi the three. Got it.
That's scary. When you have a 5'10" big who can bang in the post and then step out and hit a three, that provides a lot of trouble for Girton and whoever else is going to try to guard her for Coast Guard tonight.
That one got the Beacons bench up off their feet, leading 14-7 with 4:26 to go in quarter number 1. Driving to the basket, Martinelli, no, battling with Grossi for the rebound. It's going to be out off Coast Guard. Beacon ball with 4:20 to go in quarter number 1.
Yeah, nice little fight there from Molinar, recognizing the Beacons are struggling on the defensive glass. And now we're going to see some even more changes. Gianna Williams and Naira Mitchell on for the Beacons, with Raven Kelsey, the lone returner, lone senior out there. And for Coast Guard, they sent 3 new faces out there.
Beacons run 17 deep. They can use a lot of lineup combinations. Not all of those players available tonight. Kelsey in the corner. He goes to the up fake, doesn't get the opening. Up to Jackson. Jackson to the near side. Dixon the 3, halfway down and popped out. We do have a foul underneath, and it's going to go down the other way.
Yeah, Mitchell tried to go over the back there of Molinar and called for it. Mitchell was asking for the early touch, but Dixon keep giving her open opportunities. And if you're a spot-up shooter, that's what you're asking for. Just get open looks. The Beacons are going to be happy with her taking those shots, whether she makes or misses them.
Beacons are 6 of 10 from the field. Coast Guard now 3 of 12 after that miss. Another offensive rebound, partially blocked, comes out wide, gathered up in the post by Jayla Joyner. Joyner looking for space, deflected out of bounds by Kelsey. It will stay with Coast Guard. The one number keeping Coast Guard in this game, they have 4 offensive rebounds. They have grabbed 4 of 8 available rebounds in this game.
Yeah, that's something that the Beacons are going to preach during the media timeout that should be upcoming sooner rather than later. Next stoppage, I believe.
That 3 is no good, and the Beacons grab the defensive board. Naira Mitchell going up to get it, the freshman from Easton, Massachusetts, Oliver Ames High School. It would be the Tigers. The step back 3 from Kelsey, front rim, no. Going down to the floor to get the rebound is Mitchell, and they're going to say she walked.
Yeah, Naira's just got to scoop that up. She was a little cautious, and this is really good coaching in my opinion. UMass Boston will bring Vital back out there, recognizing the fact that they don't want 5 freshmen out there at any point. I think Raven Kelsey's the next player to come out for the Beacons. So they try to keep at least one of their seniors on the floor.
That is going to be a foul on Vital. You heard the groan from the crowd. The inbound will come on the far side, and trying to see the number of the player walking up the bench right now. No, that was just Jackson coming back and getting water.
It's the second foul, though, on Vital, so that'll be interesting to watch if they bring Jelani back on sooner rather than later.
The up and under, no good. Last year, Kelsey played about 29 minutes a game. She's played all 7 thus far. Dixon driving to the basket. Her layup, no good, short. Coming up with the rebound is Joyner. Joyner only played in 8 games last year, but she was impactful. In those 8, she's called for a charge, and the Beacons will get the ball back. Vital coming up off the floor. Still waiting on that media timeout there, Seth.
That's huge right there, because if that goes the other way, Vital has 3 fouls in the opening 7 minutes. Instead, a veteran move, recognizing where she was, made sure she was standing tall, and that's a big one as the Beacons continue to hold on to the 7-point lead.
A stout defender, averaged 1.5 steals per game last year, trying to pick up the assist here. That shot, no good, front rimmed. Dixon off the rebound, no, gets her own miss, goes up with it, misses again. Beacons 0 for 3 on that possession. It looked like the last one may have been blocked. Kelsey reaches for the steal. The ball popped loose, squirted down the court, and it's going to stay with Coast Guard.
Yeah, a little sloppy right now. The Beacons short on a couple shots. I think a little bit of that is nerves from Mitchell and Dixon, but they're getting good looks. This is the positive for UMass Boston. They're not turning it over a lot. They're getting good looks. The biggest issue right now is on the defensive glass. If they can clear that up, they're going to be very happy going into quarter number 2.
Jackson and Grossi checking into the game. Vital comes out. Raven Kelsey still on the floor. She's played this entire quarter. They're going to say she got a piece of it. It looks like she just closed off the lane.
I think it was Mitchell that might have caught a little bit with it on the left hand. Either way, 14 left on the shot clock. See what UMass Boston can do on this inbounds, trying to not give up an early look.
2:18 to go in the quarter. A late sub, Laura Irish, will come into the game for Coast Guard. Getting into the post, the up and under move from Girton. She misses. Kelsey comes up with the rebound. Girton now 0 for 4 from the field. Kelsey back out to Jackson, now on the far side corner. Grossi with the 3. 2 minutes to go in the first. 17-7 Beacons.
Grossi's hit back-to-back threes as the Beacons are on an 8-0 run, and that's clearly an offensive foul. Joyner just trucked Megan Dixon. You're allowed to knock someone, but you can't run through them, and that was a very bad attempt at a screen there for the Bears.
Substitutions both ways. Katie Matthew checks into the game for the Beacons. She will replace Raven Kelsey, who comes off the floor after a 2.3 rebound performance here early.
And again, though, Alex, you see Matthew checking on for Kelsey. The Beacons are going to keep that one veteran on at all times.
Matthew driving to the basket, now gets into the post, kicks it back out. Grossi, the up fake, goes hard to the hoop, and she was fouled. Coast Guard just doesn't seem to have an answer for Joey Grossi right now.
Well, you have to now respect the three-point shot. She gets Girton going up, and then a hard drive to the basket. Probably started a little bit early and wanted to kick that one out as there were two defenders there, but draws some contact. Has hit 2 threes, has also hit a free throw in the early going.
Misses that one, so she's now 1 of 3 from the line, 3 of 3 from the field, including 2 3-pointers as Quinones comes into the game. She will replace number, who's that just came out, number 21, Era Mitchell. Second one is good from Grossi, gives her a team high, game high, 10 points. She's single-handedly outscoring Coast Guard 18-7 with 1:36 to go in the first quarter. Moving to her left, now back up to the top, Girton the up fake. Did shoot the three a bit last year, 26% from deep. Bray walked, another travel on Coast Guard.
Nice job by Katie Matthews stepping into the lane that the Coast Guard player was looking to pass, and now Vital's back out there with the 2 fouls. The Beacons are looking to put some distance between themselves and Coast Guard before the end of the quarter.
The help has been 7 turnovers by the Bears. Vital to her right, swings it back around. Matthew into the post to Grossi. Vital gonna take the three, she hits it! 1:10 to go in the quarter. The Beacons up 21-7.
Right now the Beacons on a 12-0 run.
This is a team that averaged just 30 points in the first half of games last year. They're at 21, and we're not done with the first quarter. That shot is an air ball, and the Beacons will get a chance to tack on here.
Well, that's bad news if you're Coast Guard. The only player who's had any kind of scoring touch, Reese Fallica, back in the game, and airballs a shot. She's got all 7 for the Bears, but hasn't scored in about 5 minutes.
Grossi from the three-point line. Down low, Quinones trying to get underneath. High off the glass, it was halfway down and out. Coming in hard for the rebound was Matthew. She misses the putback, but is able to stay with it. 37 to go in the quarter. Fresh shot clock. Long 2 from Grossi, her first miss. Rebound, Quinones.
Play for the last shot right now if you're UMass Boston, and Vital recognizes it. About 2-second difference between shot clock and game clock.
Grossi on the give and go. Vital, yes! 20 seconds to go for Coast Guard. The Beacons 9 of 19 from the floor. Coast Guard 3 of 17. Shot clock is off. 12 seconds to go in the quarter. The lob to the inside. Girton gets it to go.
Good read and a nice finish for Girton. The Beacons need to push it with 5 seconds left. Make that 7.
That was the first basket for Coast Guard in 3.5 minutes. Grossi did not get it off. It will not count. The Beacons don't need it right now through 1 quarter. UMass Boston 23, Coast Guard 9. Keep it here. You're watching UMass Boston women's basketball season opener on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Welcome back to the Clark Athletic Center. Through 1 quarter, the Beacons lead 23-9. If you missed any of that first quarter, you want to check out the highlights, you can catch a recap as well on beaconsathletics.com. You can also follow them on Twitter at UMass Beacons, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as well. And the Beacons opening up here tonight. Women's basketball elsewhere around Beaconville. As we take a look at winter sports starting to kick up. Men's basketball tomorrow night. They will host Norwich. Women's hockey hosts Plymouth State on Friday. And men's hockey, a ranked matchup against Hobart College. It'll be at 7 p.m. on Friday. Again, you can get caught up on all that action at beaconsathletics.com.
And UMass Boston going with a slightly different look to start the second quarter. Jelani Jackson, Megan Dixon, players who came off the bench in the first quarter, out there with Katie Matthew, Joey Grassi, and Alecia Quinones. I think we're going to see a little bit less of Vital here in the second quarter with those 2 fouls. That's the last thing the Beacons want to do, be without their veteran point guard for the second half. Up by 14, they can give Jackson a little bit more run time.
Farrington, one dribble with the left hand, now gets it down to Bray, driving baseline, hesitates and got fouled.
The only problem is that's Jackson's help side defense there. Dixon got beat. No one came over to help. That's Jackson's hole to fill. And there's an early look for Coast Guard. They've had just 2 players score, and it took Girton up until about the 9-minute and 52-second mark to put points on the board for the first time this year.
Bray misses her first free throw of the season. You saw her teammates rush to greet her. That's not a familiar sight. Bray, an outstanding free throw shooter, shot 90% from the line last season as a junior. Second one is good.
It's the first free throw attempt of the day for Coast Guard, if I'm not mistaken. Beacons had a free throw attempt on their first play of the game.
And you're right, that's the first time Coast Guard's gone to the line. It comes here in the first minute of the second quarter. Beacons now up 23-10, getting ready to inbound under their own basket after Jill Bray ties her shoe. Jackson will inbound. They run a play for Dixon, get the ball to her on the far side wing in front of the Coast Guard bench. Cross-court pass, the three-pointer is good off the open look for Katie Matthew.
Beacons now 4 of 7 from 3, and that's a play that's set up for Matthew coming off a couple screens away from the ball, and she is lethal when she's that wide open.
That's her first basket of the game. They get it out, the hesitation move and the walk to travel. Zoe Reese-Felica had a chance. She had the open shot, elected to give it up, try to drive to the basket, and ended up traveling.
Yeah, Felica was in a good spot, but again, she's just a sophomore. That's one of those plays where maybe a junior or senior is a little bit more aggressive, but realistically, I think we've seen as much nerves from Coast Guard as we've seen from the Beacons here in the first half.
Jackson tried to get it down to Grossi, couldn't do it. Ball pops back out to Dixon, thought about the drive, doesn't have it. Getting it down in the post. Grossi, no, too much on it. Offensive rebound. Beacons, no foul first.
Yeah, they're going to call that on Grossi coming over and swiping the ball out of the hands of a Coast Guard player. That's a great pass from Katie Matthew. Grossi went a little bit too quickly there, didn't recognize that Ross Felica was the player who was stepping in. She had quite a bit of size over her, but another good look. The Beacons have had a lot of bunnies, haven't necessarily hit on all of them, but they're getting great looks on every offensive possession.
Bray drives to the basket, the last second kick and a foul. That's going to go against Dixon, and the Bears now that Gillian Girton, their main player, their main option, isn't showing too much. They seem to be putting the ball in the hands of senior Jill Bray and seeing if she can get some momentum going.
That was a nice little give and go. Dixon, she was very surprised that was called a foul. It might have been partially just the fact that she did it with so much power, as that's now 2 on Dixon. I think Raven Kelsey immediately headed to the scorer's table. It's likely for Dixon.
You see the freshmen, we talked about how well they played in the first quarter, but maybe a half a step behind defensively is a few of these freshmen now in foul trouble. That one is no good.
Oh, a huge part of that, Alex, is when you have so many new faces, knowing your defensive assignment and getting there in time is going to be one of those things that takes a little bit more time to instill. As UMass Boston, remember, just the 3 returners to be out to a 16-point lead over a Coast Guard team that brought back the majority of the players who saw time last year is a bit of a surprise.
Brianna Wood 1 for 2 from the line. The Beacons trying to quickly get it down the other way. Grossi has trouble finding the ball. Lobs one inside to Kelsey. Gets there, and looks like we have a foul against Coast Guard.
Yeah, that was a weird little play. The ball got tapped out of the hands of Grossi, who was just looking for an outlet, and then Kelsey goes up over 2 players, makes the catch, and is fouled. Already 5 team fouls combined between these 2 sides in the opening minute and 33 of the quarter.
Kelsey tries to get it down on the post to Grossi. A little too much on that one. It deflects off of a few players. Jill Bray, the last one to touch it, and it will stay with the Beacons.
Again, that's just a chemistry thing. Kelsey's looking for Grossi, but they haven't quite hit that connection. It's the second time we've seen the ball get past Grossi, this time fortunately off the hands of a Bear before it went out of bounds.
They inbound it to Matthew. Matthew looking for Kelsey, gets it to her, 23 on the shot clock. Driving with the left hand, kicks it out to the corner. Matthews three, no good. Bounced around a little bit and fell out. 8:10 to go in the quarter. Coast Guard trying to run the floor. That pass long, and the Beacons will get it back.
Well, Grossi was right there on the back of the Coast Guard player, providing a little bit of pressure. Right now, UMass Boston needs to continue to attack, not settle for those long jump shots. 15-point lead is great, but there's still a ton of time left in this game.
Quinones with the right hand, the screen from Grossi. Matthew in the post, and Grossi gets it to go after missing a couple. She's got 12.
That's just a bad cover. Unless it's Girton on Grossi, Grossi has this advantage in size, and she's just as athletic as the rest of the Coast Guard bigs.
Off the pick and roll, it's broken up. Quinones keeps it in bounds. Beacons have a chance to run here. Up ahead, the layup is no good. That's going to be Coast Guard ball. It was Katie Matthew who ran out of room. She had to kind of rush that shot up at the net.
Yeah, you love the fact that Matthews hustling there. Just couldn't quite get it to fall. This lead could be even bigger if the Beacons were hitting some of their shots around the hoop.
28-11 with 7:25 to go in the second quarter. Girton at the point, tries to get it down into the low post, and it was intercepted by Kelsey, who dribbled it off a teammate's foot. She rips it back. They're going to call a jump ball.
UMass Boston is baiting Girton to make those passes. That's the second time that Girton has been the distributor from the top of the key, and the Beacons had two bigs on either side of the block ready for Girton to make that pass, and Kelsey easily stepped in. Quinones was there as well. Coast Guard right now, their offense is getting read very easily, as the Beacons thought there never should have been a tie-up, and the arrow is going to go to UMass Boston as they have a little discussion at the scorer's table. So it'll go back to the Beacons either way. Never should have gotten to that point if not for the fact that Kelsey actually dribbled off the back of the foot of Grossi as she looked to push the ball in transition.
Made up for it. She absolutely wrenched the ball out of Brianna Wood's hands. Jackson skipping up the far side, 7:05 to go in the quarter. Jackson going left to right, gets the screen from Grossi, drives down towards the hoop. The off-balance layup is good.
That's a heck of a move from Jackson, working against the older Reese Falica, and that's her first collegiate points.
Out to the corner, Farrington's three, halfway down, rolls out. Offensive rebound for Coast Guard. That is their sixth offensive rebound of the game.
I think they're going to get Jackson here on the hand check foul as she was guarding the tallest player out there for Coast Guard. A bit of a difficult cover for a player who's listed, I believe, at 5'1", but that might be a little kind. 5'3".
Beacons by 19. That shot's no good. The off-balance jumper. To the floor they go. Kelsey trying to battle for it. It ends up with Michaela Martinelli. She converts. 30-13. Up the floor to Kelsey. Pumps towards the net. Got the defender off her. Throws to the baseline. Cutting and getting there just in time was Matthew, but then she traveled. When Raven Kelsey threw that pass, it looked like she was throwing empty space.
It did, and that's the connection between those two players who have played together for 4 years. And now the first sight of Sarah St. Surin. She's a player who's dealing with some injuries right now, hasn't seen as much time in practice, but the 6'3" freshman will get her first time on the floor.
That's number 32 in white. She almost ended up on the ball there on that screen. Here she is down low working on Girton. No good. She might have gotten a piece of it and comes down with the rebound.
There were 5 players there, and Surin just grabbed it away from all 4. We'll see if she gets an early look offensively.
Jackson to Quinones. To Matthew in the corner, up top. Kelsey down into the post. Surin working with the left foot pivot. Back out to Kelsey. He's going to dribble to her left. Pull up in the lane off the glass. It's good, and the foul.
This has been fun to watch, Alex. This Beacons team, you mentioned it, the Beacons struggled scoring in the first half of games a year ago. This Beacons team has come out aggressively. They're making the right decisions offensively, and they're going to get more fresh faces out there. Gianna Williams, who saw a little bit of run time in the first half. This freshman class is bringing a ton of energy both on the floor, and this is the most excited I've seen their bench in the 3 years that Chris Baugh has been there. They're up, they're screaming, they're clapping. We're going to see another one of those freshmen, Whitney Fulton, checking in shortly.
Kelsey was a 70% free throw shooter last year, misses her first. or the only one, pardon me. It was an and one opportunity, but she adds 2 more points. She has 4 on the game. Joey Grossi still pacing the Beacons with 12. Zoe Reese-Felica paces the Bears with 7. Those all came early in the game in the first 5 or so minutes, and she's been ice cold since. She's 3 of 7 from the field and out of the game.
Well, Alex, after Falica went on a 5-0 run, it cut the Beacons' lead to 9-7. Even with that basket, UMass Boston's on a 23-8 run.
Jackson with 5:22 to go in the second quarter. Gets the screen, doesn't use it. Pass comes out to Fulton. Fulton across to Kelsey. Kelsey looking down into the paint for Williams. Williams keeps it in bounds, gets it to the corner for Jackson. No. Offensive rebound, St. Cyr in the layup coming from the corner was Jackson. She's able to keep the ball in bounds off the rebound. It's going to be a jump ball, and there you saw the imposing force that is Sarah St. Cyr, and just keeping that possession alive time after time.
Yeah, that was fun to watch, and I love the fact that Jelani Jackson, so small but willing to go to the hoop. Again, some of the plays where the Beacons aren't executing in terms of putting points on the board, they're still creating good looks. That's so much of a confidence boost to UMass Boston's coaching staff that their team is able to execute here in the early going.
That 3 is no good off the runner from Martinelli. Another offensive rebound from Coast Guard. This has been, if you want to call it 32-15 score in the game, the offensive rebounding is all that's been keeping Coast Guard in the game. Corner 3, no good. Who's that going to be out off of? It's off of Coast Guard. The offensive rebounds, 7 for Coast Guard. They've grabbed as many offensive rebounds as they have defensive. On the other side of the floor, the Beacons, 9 defensive rebounds, 7 offensive. So on both sides, the rebounding split about 50-50 as we have a timeout on the floor with 4:33 to go in the second quarter. Beacons leading 32-15. Keep it here on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Alex Barth, Seth Orensky with you. And Seth, we talked about it going into the break, the rebounding. On the Coast Guard side of the floor, Coast Guard has grabbed 8 of 18 potential rebounds. The Beacons have 10 defensive. On the other side of the floor, when the Beacons are on offense, it's split 7-7, 50%. What about this game is making the rebound so up for grabs?
Well, I think, especially when you look at UMass Boston offensively, the Beacons are getting the ball down low on a significant amount of their possessions to a player that's drawing a double team or weak side, creating offensive opportunities. For the Beacons, they're forcing some long shots, a couple odd caroms, and Coast Guard's really hitting the boards hard, as that was a really nice play from Tajay Mazik, her first collegiate points.
Mazik, a freshman from Hamden, Connecticut, part of that strong Connecticut contingent like you mentioned at the top of the broadcast.
And she's fighting with Jelani Jackson for that backup point guard spot.
Mazik driving, kicks to the corner. Kelsey, 3, no, off the far rim. Rebound for Coast Guard. They're going to have a chance here in numbers. Trying to come up behind is Fulton. She's able to slow it up. Farrington.
That's a huge play by Fulton. Otherwise, Coast Guard was going to be on the break for an easy layup.
Falica. To the far side, Martinelli is fouled going up for the runner, and she'll go to the line. Michaela Martinelli, a junior from Vero Beach, Florida, a 69% free throw shooter a year ago.
And this is a chance for Coast Guard to get back into the game a little bit. UMass Boston already in the bonus. That's their 5th foul. So if Coast Guard thought they were in the bonus, and they should be, the scorer's table trying to let them know. And it should be free throws right now as the referees.
One of the officials just realized. The coaching staff came all the way out to midcourt to let them know.
First game of the season for some of these referees as well. And those rules those rules went into effect, I believe, 2 years ago, last year?
The quarters was 2 years ago, yeah.
So again, for some of these referees, it's not what they've been dealing with their entire lives. So you got to get used to it. But 5 fouls in the quarter, it resets every quarter, leads to the double bonus. So it's a chance for Coast Guard, if they can hit their free throws, to potentially gain some ground. Down by 19, you'd love to get it down to 12, maybe even 10 before the start of the second half.
They still have some time here in the quarter, 3:48 to go. The first one from Martinelli, no good. She hits the second to make it 34-16 with 3:48 to go.
And what I like for UMass Boston is of the players available tonight, which isn't the entire roster. The Beacons have 3 players who didn't dress. All but 3 players have gotten in, despite the fact that the Beacons have so many new faces. UMass Boston doing a nice job of using their bench.
Lob pass to Kelsey. She's able to drag it down, uses the up fake, cuts to the basket. Backdoor pass. The jumper comes up short. That one from Naira Mitchell.
Mitchell's another player who's been missing some time during practice. Think that she just needs a little bit more time to get back into the groove.
Bray gets it to Wood, who...
I'm going to call a little hand check there on Fulton, who can't believe it.
Looked, because the official had his back, looked like a travel for a second. This is going to be another chance at the line.
So it's 2 on Fulton, 2 on Dixon, and 2 on Vital, who picked up both of her fouls in the first quarter. And it's going to be Kalila Hall likely coming on for Whitney Fulton with those 2 fouls.
Wood already went to the stripe once. She was 1 for 2, knocks that one down. We'll get our first look at Kalila Hall, the freshman from Cambridge, Massachusetts, Cambridge Ringen Latin High School. And now all but 2 available players have gotten into the game for the Beacons.
Yeah, the lone player still looking for those collegiate debuts. Allie Love and Kaylee Gauthier. Sure we'll see both of them, especially if this game continues going the way it is, sooner rather than later.
Mazik across half court with 3:10 to go in the first half. Gets a pick to her right, room to the basket, tried to drop it back to Hall, who overran the pass.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there. I like the speed from Tajay Mazik. She's bigger than Vital and Jackson, but brings that same kind of pace. Can really wreak havoc on a team that maybe doesn't have a point guard as fast as Zoe Reese-Falico's, keeping up with the Beacons and maybe a little bit faster at points.
Off the wheel around to Bray, stops, hesitates. She had Girton open for a second. Missed her, gives the defense time to close in. Mitchell, Girton needs to do something with it here at the elbow. Gets it to the corner, 10 on the shot clock. The off-balance jumper is no good. And the rebound for Raven Kelsey. Coast Guard now 6 for 26 from the field. Up the floor, the off-balance layup off the high glass. No good. Kelsey calling for the ball at the top. She was all alone, but unable to get the defender's hands off the ball. Gianna Williams, and it will be an inbound for the Beacons.
It's really important right now for the Beacons to get a good set. Kelsey, the lone returner, but these 4 players a little bit further down the depth chart were some of the players who came off a little bit later.
Kelsey got it into Hall, who missed the layup but was fouled.
I think Kelsey actually came over and grabbed the offensive rebound and went up with it. That's the nice thing for UMass Boston. Even when the freshmen maybe are a little nervous or they're not playing as well, if you have one of those returners out there, especially one as aggressive as Raven Kelsey, she's going to give you a great chance. Kelsey just has a motor that never stops.
Misses her first free throw. She's now 0-2 at the line for the night. Front rim's the second. That's going to be out off Coast Guard. Trying to get the rebound was Brianna Woods, so another chance here for the Beacons.
And we'll see Gauthier check in for her first appearance as a college player.
Just waiting on Allie Love now.
Gauthier, the rare Delaware product. Don't see a lot of those players come up to Boston.
From Newark, Delaware, the jumper is good from Mazik. 36-18. Beacons tied for their largest lead of the night. It's 19. Bray off the spinner is blocked. That was Kelsey now trying to turn it around the other way. Under 2 minutes to go here in the corner on the near side. Hall looking to get rid of it, gets it into the post. Mitchell, offensive foul.
That's tough. It wasn't a ton of contact. A nice aggressive move there from Mitchell, who's still looking for those first collegiate points. But really what I've loved from UMass Boston's freshmen is even those players who haven't been able to get going offensively, everyone is providing some pressure on defense. Beacons have not allowed Coast Guard to get comfortable offensively at all during this game.
Falca driving to the hoop, gets around her defender, misses the layup. Beacons coming the other way. Here's a 3-on-1, the backdoor pass. The finish, and the Beacons lead by 20, their largest lead of the night with 1:25 to go in the quarter. Coast Guard trying to answer quickly the other way. Bray off the glass for 2.
Nice little hesitation move there by Bray, who was blocked on the last possession by Kelsey, but the one thing we've seen from Coast Guard is they continue to be aggressive offensively despite not having a ton of success.
Bray has 5 points. She's 2 of 4 from the field. The only member of the Bears who's over 50%. That one thrown away. Coming up the court, Girton on the far side has to pull it momentarily. The lob pass inside. Moulinar has it knocked out of her hands by Kalila Hall. It's going to stay with the Bears here with 57.3 seconds to go in the half.
And Kelsey takes a well-deserved rest for the rest of this half. It'll be Quinones as the lone returner. And it looks like Jelani Jackson's going to check back in.
She will replace Tajay Mizek.
Mazik's done a nice job. Been really impressed by her. Didn't see any time in the first quarter, but very aggressive offensively here late in the second.
Jackson trying to go for the steal. It's out off of her shins. Mazik thus far 2 for 3 from the field, 4 points. Also a rebound and an assist. Boy, Jackson just hounding the ball defensively right now.
Well, if you want playing time, you can show it defensively. And player who came from Brockton Boxers, a very strong program in both boys and girls basketball, showing why.
And the defense from Mitchell. Falca to Irish. Irish uses the right arm to get space. She's fouled going up. That was Mitchell there defensively. 2 shots coming for the Bears. As much as they've struggled from the field, they've been all right from the stripe, 5 of 8. This will be Irish's first trip to the line. The sophomore from Boise, Idaho, shot 75% last year.
And it looks like we're going to see Sarah St. Cyrin come in for the final possession of the half. Or, well, it looks like 2 possessions with 50 seconds left.
She replaces Mitchell, who had recently picked up her 3rd foul of the game. All the Beacons have gotten in foul trouble early. Mitchell the only one with 3+. Everybody else 2-1 or 0. And part of that, Vital was able to get most of the quarter off, and the Beacons were able to hang without her.
We haven't seen Lydia Vital, the starting point guard, here in half number 2. That's the 2nd straight foul the Beacons are called for. Both times, I think the Beacons got more ball than body, but the problem is the hand is coming down just a little bit rather than straight up. And Josh Ruffin, our cameraman, who's played a little bit of basketball in his time at 6'8", says the same thing. I think Mitchell got maybe more ball than St. Cyrin, who looked like she had a clean block as well. But if you're coming down on the ball rather than standing straight up, more often than not, they're going to give the benefit of the doubt to the offensive player.
Moulinar at the line, her first trip to the stripe today. She is scoreless thus far. She missed her first. 38-21 with 38.7 seconds to go in the first half. Moulinar misses the second. Another offensive rebound for Coast Guard. That time it's Wood.
And the Beacons certainly have something that Chris Ball is going to focus on at halftime. Coach is never going to be happy at halftime no matter the score, but that is going to be the biggest talking point.
Layup is good for Coast Guard. 38-23, 18 seconds to go, and the Beacons, it looks like, will hold for the final shot. Jackson in front of the scorer's table. 12 on the clock, lobs it to the corner. That one is long. Still 5 seconds left. Quinones driving to the hoop. It's going to be a jump ball. Possession will go down the other way, so the Beacons get 1 shot off in that final frame. Gaudier misses a 3. And Coast Guard will inbound the left to get it halfway up the court. We'll probably see them roll it.
Yeah, well, if you're Jackson, you want to pressure the ball a little bit.
And there she goes.
This is big for Coast Guard. They want a little bit of momentum going in the half.
Not sure she got it off. It's going to come up well short either way. And that will do it for the first half of play. It's been all Beacons thus far. 38-23 UMass Boston lead, thanks to 12 points from the freshman Joey Grossi, a coming out party for her, getting things started in her first college game.
Yeah, Grossi's been great. The freshmen as a whole, everyone's making some kind of impact. I really like the fact that we're seeing at least one veteran at all times. I don't know if that'll stay that way throughout the season, but at least for these first couple games, UMass Boston's going to rely on those veterans just as a calming presence on the court. Really good start for the Beacons. Biggest thing is can't let Coast Guard get back into it to start the third. That's why I expect to see a lot more Grossi and Vital in the third quarter compared to the second where we barely saw either.
We'll be back with Christina Ball on the other side of this. Her halftime thoughts. Keep it here. You're watching UMass Boston women's basketball season opener on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Cheer for the stumbles, the he shoulda had that's, and the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
Bond, Coach, given the amount of fresh faces on your team, how surprised you with how cohesively you're playing as a unit?
I think we've learned a lot from our last two scrimmages, where we get with selfish basketball and where we get with team basketball. And for the first 20 minutes, I'm pretty happy. We're playing team ball right now.
Joey Grossi specifically has been outstanding. What about her has allowed her to succeed in the first 20 minutes of her college career?
She's a mismatch nightmare. She can play multiple positions. I mean, she can stretch it out to the three, and she's learned to battle in the block. So I think her work ethic has gotten her where she is. I mean, in high school, 1,500 points, 1,500 rebounds. You don't see that often. My whole career I haven't seen it. So she's a mismatch.
If you look at the offensive rebounds for Coast Guard are almost equal with what you guys have defensively. How have you been able to dominate this game on the despite having trouble on the defensive glass?
We're playing rhythm basketball. Right now we got to clean up their offensive rebounds. A lot of it's been off the free throw line, so we got to adjust that during the half. But we're playing rhythm team basketball, and when we do that, we can win a lot of games.
I saw you circle when you came over here. Your free throw numbers, 2 for 7. That's something that's got to change, right?
Absolutely, sir.
Coach Christina Ball, thank you very much. Good luck in the second half. We'll be back with more after this. It's UMass Boston 38, Coast Guard 38-23 as I check the big scoreboard up there. Keep it here on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
big difference is the speed. We have a lot of new guards, so they're kind of faster. They play faster, which is what we kind of want. And that might be just a difference. I mean, we were not a big team last year. We're not that big this year, but we have some new talent, so it should be kind of fun this year to see how fast we play. I think just our skill set, last year we weren't really highly skilled between the guards, but we had a lot of people that could play. But this year I think we have a lot of people that are dominant every which way of the game, defensively, offensively, can shoot the ball, can get to the hoop. So it should be pretty good this year that we have that many players that can do that many things.
Being from Boston, why leave when you can build a dynasty here and have your family and friends come here and watch you play? They don't got to travel too far, and it's right here. We live 10 minutes away. My mom could come before she go to work. Makes it easy for her, and then our family could come. Having a young team is gonna be great. We could run up and down the floor, push the ball. Other teams can't keep up with us, our young talent, and I'm looking forward to the season. Why can't we just build it here? Why can't we just have our community, have Boston come to UMass Boston games and support us? Why would we be Boston kids and be somewhere else helping them win when we should bring something to our own city?
Some of the freshmen even, like Charlie and Charles, the twins, Dason, Ty, just competing in practice. The intensity is pretty good, and those are talented guys, so the competition's great. Helps a ton because you got to stay on your toes because there's a couple talented guys on the team. So just competing hard every day helps us prepare for our opponents.
I mean, I did it last year, so I know what to expect from coach. But it's different. I'm used to being a guard. I'm used to dribbling the ball a lot. But coming into college, I just want to make the team and play. I don't do anything to win. So if that means I have to go get a rebound and get an extra possession, I'll do so. But being undersized doesn't really mean that we can't play against a bigger kid. So, I mean, like me, like Bernard, we just try to use our athleticism and our speed and just go up there and be big as well.
Our intensity level, no matter who they are, our intensity level is going to stay high. No team put fear in our heart, and heart over height, and that's what we run by. And you could dump it down low. We're going to play physical, no matter what. No matter if we have a lapse and they get a dunk, doesn't matter. We're going to continue playing, and we're going to continue fighting because a team's going to give in whether we're not going to give in, and we're just going to run regardless, whether we're down and we have to come back or we're up and we got to keep that score. So no matter what team we run into, we're still going to fight and we're going to give it all.
I just want everybody to have that competitiveness to win. Yeah, we don't have Dan and some of our seniors that are coming back, but I think we should be okay. It's just a whole new level of competition, new faces. We'll just bring anything to the table. So we just got to pick up where we left off last year and hopefully try to win an LEC this year.
I think it definitely sets a tone. I mean, nobody on the team likes losing. So, I mean, we also stuck with them for a half. So that means that we have a lot of talent on the team. We could definitely compete with them. So going into the game, we'll definitely be ready Thursday.
It feels good to know that they're actually seeing our improvement. I think with the new head coach, he set a whole different standard. And I think his standard is just he wants to win. He doesn't like to lose. And it's showing because we went from 8 to 4 this year. Which is a huge improvement. I wasn't expecting to be that high, but it feels good to be number 4.
I think we can go pretty far, to be honest. I mean, we have a lot of talent. I mean, we're young, but there's a lot of knowledge of the game on the team. So as long as we stick together, we'll be all right.
Our expectation is just to win. I don't want to set a goal too high, too low. I just want to win and see how far we can get. I really want to win at LEC. I never really won in high school, so it's different to know that in college win a ring versus high school, you get a trophy. So I really want to win a ring.
Welcome back to the Clark Athletic Center here. Men's basketball team will be in the house tomorrow to get their season started. So we hit the half. It's taking a look at the numbers through 20 minutes. If we have. Yep. The numbers through 20 minutes, and it all starts with the field goal percentage right there. The Beacons absolutely locked in that first half. 16 of 36 from the field, 4 of 9 from deep. Coast Guard 8 of 30, 1 of 10 respectively. The turnover numbers as well, 13 turnovers for Coast Guard and 10 for the Beacons. Joey Grossi has a game-high 12 points. She is 4 for 6 from the field, 2 of 2 from deep. We saw her mostly in that first quarter, despite sitting out most of the second quarter with foul trouble. Lydia Vital leads the Beacons with assists. And a block aside as well. Taking a look back now at the first half. We'll be back with second half action right after this as the Beacons retake the court. Keep it here on the Beacon Broadcast Network. Reese Follicould passes it over the shoulder of Brianna Wood, coming the other way. The Beacons, Quinones the layup. 5-2 with the right hand. Up fake from Dixon, kicks it back. Grossi the three, got it.
That's scary.
Kelsey. Back out to Jackson, now on the far side corner. Grossi with the three. 2 minutes to go in the first. Right, swings it back around. Matthew into the post to Grossi. Vital gonna take the three. She hits it. 1:10 to go in the court.
Vital recognizes it. About 2 second difference between shot clock and game clock.
Grossi on the give and go. Vital, yes. They run a play for Dixon. Get the ball to her on the far side wing in front of the Coast Guard bench. Cross court pass. The three-pointer is good off the open look for Katie Math. Kelsey down into the post. Surin working with the left foot pivot. Back out to Kelsey. He's going to dribble to her left. Pull up in the lane off the glass. It's good and the foul. Beacons coming the other way. Here's a 3-on-1. The backdoor pass. The finish, and the Beacons. Welcome back to UMass Boston. 38-23. Beacons at the half. And the opening night for the Beacons, the opening night around the Little East as well. Taking a look at what else is going on. They're at the half at the University of New England, leading Southern Maine 30-23. Rhode Island College and Salem State in action, as well as is Keene State and Westfield. And Plymouth State up 9 over Riviere in the second quarter. The conference polls, UMass Dartmouth is the favorite in the preseason poll to win the Little East. Keene State, you saw in action tonight, they're in second, they got 1 vote. UMass Boston was picked 5th, but if tonight is any indication, they will be proving some people wrong there. Beacon's first conference game will come on the road. That is December 12th at Keene State, so tough test for them to open up their conference slate. Speaking of which, looking ahead for the Beacons, after this they will be playing in the UMass Dartmouth tournament this upcoming weekend, starting off against Colby College. And that looks like not sure what that schedule is. I'll just tell you here, they'll be at UMass Dartmouth this weekend, starting with Colby College on Friday night. They'll be on the road at Fisher College on November 21st. Their next home game will be November 28th. That will be against Becker College. It's back-to-back home games. 2 days later, they will host Fitchburg before going on the road to visit Keene State on December 2nd, that first conference game of the year. Well, it officially is winter sports season. Men's hockey got things started earlier this week. They took on Curry College, a big 6-1 win. Take a look at the highlights.
Potentially Riley. He's got the Gregory gets home.
Right back at the Clark Athletics Center, getting ready for the second half. Alex Barth, Seth Orensky, bringing you the UMass Boston Beacons women's basketball opener. The Beacons will move right to left now as we get going there in the white jerseys. Coast Guard in the blue with orange. They move left to right. Lydia Vital, 5 assists in that first half. Starts with the ball, one-touch pass inside. Another jump ball, Seth. We've seen quite a few jump ball calls tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if I love that one. It looked like there was some hip-to-hip action as Quinones went around the defender. It just shows that both of these teams are really hustling and they're not giving up when they're beaten defensively. I mean, Coast Guard, the one thing you can definitely give them credit for is they haven't given up in this game despite being down by as many as 20. Biggest thing for UMass Boston is try to land a knockout punch right now when you have your starters out there to start the third quarter.
Oh, Quinones, the pocket pass underneath to Katie Matthew for 2.
Quinones took a hit there. She was a little bit slow as she got hit by the player who was rushing to cut off that pass. And interesting to see how she fares the next minute as she looked a little groggy there to start.
Second possession in a row. They try to get it into Girton's hands. This time it's intercepted. Kelsey coming the other way, looking to run the floor. Gets it to the corner, and the Beacons slow up.
Oh, she missed Quinones wide open on the right wing, calling for it, but did not get the ball.
Driving to the basket, gets her own miss off the block, puts it off the bottom of the backboard. Twice now Coast Guard offensively has tried to get the ball to Girton. She's missed a shot and they had a turnover, but I think we can expect the Bears to try to ride their best player here, trailing big at the start of the second half. Corner 3, that one is good from Martinelli.
Well, Alex, you look at Girton's stat line, 0 points, huge surprise. 0 for 6 from the field and just 3 rebounds. If you're going to get back in this game, you're going to need her to do something offensively.
Vital driving to her right, pulls up on the jumper, gets it to go.
I really like Vital's game. She does a nice job of not looking for her offense, but she's able to knock down jump shots. She's got, I think, 5 now, and they've all been on possessions where she had the best look.
Quinones the takeaway, the 2-on-1. She's going to take it herself and finish off the glass. Quinones now 6 points on 3 of 6 shooting. Hear the defense chant coming from the Beacons bench. Up 19 with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. That shot is long. Kelsey comes down with the authoritative rebound. Pushing the issue, try to get it inside to Joey Grossi. Her pass left just short.
Just too cute there. It was the right idea from Kelsey to draw Girton out, but not enough behind the pass.
Hesitation 3, no good. Grossi fighting for the rebound. It looked like she had it, an early call on the jump ball.
It's happened a couple times. I don't mind that one. Both players fighting for possession rather than calling the travel on Grossi, who had a little bit more of the possession. And we're going to see Quinones check out with Megan Dixon, who was one of the freshmen who looked a little bit more aggressive in that first half, coming on early on for Quinones.
Dixon took more shots than anybody but Grossi in that first half. She was 1 for 5 from the field, also got herself to the line. To the far side wing in front of the Coast Guard bench, backing down Martinelli. Falica working on Vital, passes one high, handled Martinelli the up fake, now driving in on the freshman Dixon, pushes it towards the rim, no good, rebound, no. Fighting for it, and it comes out again, second rebound of the possession of Girton. Girton to Martinelli in the corner, trying to drive baseline, spins around, Grossi, no good off the front rim.
Great hustle though by Martinelli, keeping that ball alive 2-3 times, unfortunately unable to finish.
To the corner, Matthew, no. Kelsey almost came down with the board, and I think she's going to get called for the over the back here.
Yeah, Matthew coming up short there because Girton came fast with a very quick closeout, forced her to alter the shot just a little bit.
That would be the first foul on Raven Kelsey. And we have a timeout on the floor.
Yeah, I think the Beacons are going to use their 30 timeout, and that's going to become a media. So early stoppage here, and realistically, you have to love the start if you're UMass Boston. I believe it was a 13-point Beacon lead at the half, already pushing it out to 19. And this is what you wanted to see. When you have your full roster out there, your full contingent of starters, push the lead back. They build it up to as many as 20 midway through that second quarter. Don't let Coast Guard creep back into this game, knowing how much experience they have on their side compared to the Beacons' very youthful roster.
We'll step aside here real quick. 44-25 Beacons lead on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
.6:49 to go in the third quarter. Out of the Beacons timeout, Coast Guard will inbound under their own basket here, moving left to right. Beacons have come out on an impressive run to start the second half.
And it all starts with their defense. UMass Boston's done a nice job limiting this Coast Guard team. 7 points in the...
It's going to be a kickball.
7 points in that first quarter to put them in a really tough spot. And Coast Guard really hasn't been able to create many runs. They've gone on a 5-0 run here, a 4-0 run there, but the Beacons have been able to go on 10, 12, 2 runs, whereas Coast Guard's struggling to score on 3 or 4 possessions in a row.
Beacons have led by as much as 20. Coast Guard led by 2. That was off the initial basket of the game. It's been all Beacons since. Turned over, grabbed by Matthew, heaves it up the court. Vital can't finish. And now it's Coast Guard coming the other way as play starts to break down a little bit.
Again, though, that's a hustle play from Matthew. A great job getting there and then immediately picking her head up. You'd love to finish that if you're Vital, but a nice play by UMass Boston where they just outworked the Coast Guard Academy.
In the far side corner, getting it up to the top to Martinelli. Martinelli with the right hand trying to go around Dixon. Gets to the elbow, kicks it out. Farrington off balance three-pointer. Gets it to fall.
It's a big shot. 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Needed to chuck one up and nailed it. Back down to a 16-point Beacon lead.
5:44 to go in the third quarter. Matthew looking to the inside, doesn't have anything out to the top to Kelsey. Kelsey to the near side to Dixon. Dixon into the double team, loses the ball. Coast Guard has it. It's going to be a 2-on-1. Folica, the late pass, laid up off the glass and in. That was Brenna Farrington on the far side with the finish. She now has 7 points. That ties her with Folica for a team high. Inside to Kelsey, kicks it out to the corner. Matthew, 3, need this, got it.
Beacon shot 44.4% from the field in the first half, but also 44% from distance. And a big part of that is getting open looks. UMass Boston's had uncontested threes for most of this game.
Gurdon tries to answer with the 3, can't do it. Oh, what a nice spin move right there from Lydia Vital. Gets it over to Dixon, who lost control, recovers the floater, and the lane is good. Kissed it off the glass and finished. All the way up to Martinelli. Coast Guard trying to up the tempo. It's poked away by Vital. 1.5 steals a game last year. Oh, and she just missed keeping that ball in bounds.
This Beacons team is a lot of fun to watch. That last play, just in itself, as we're going to get another media timeout. First, the play from Vital just to get out of trouble, and then pushing it down court. Dixon wanted to take the 3, lost the dribble, then had to go hard to the hoop. I want to see if we can get that one coming out of this commercial, as that was just a phenomenal play. And here it is right there. You see Dixon loses it, comes up, little floater off the glass. That is all athleticism by those 2 Beacons guards. And Alex, part of it is when things are going good, and things have gone well today for UMass Boston, you get some of those breaks. But this Beacons team is a whole different unit than they were a season ago. They are very athletic, shooting well, and the one thing that I really took from their season preview when talking to the 3 seniors is they said everyone can score. They shouldn't have some of the scoring lulls that we watched this team go through a year ago. That's been the case today. The Beacons defense at points has struggled against Coast Guard, but their offense, even when they've gone to their second, even third unit, have been able to get good looks.
Dixon, 4 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Beacons break the huddle first here, 4:36 to go in the third quarter. And now we've seen Coast Guard here the last couple possessions, Seth, start to ramp up that tempo. This could turn into a bit of a track meet as Coast Guard tries to chip away at this monstrous Beacon lead, up 19 with 4:35 to go in the third quarter.
I don't know if that benefits Coast Guard, though, because when you look at UMass Boston, they're going deeper. They seem to be more comfortable in their bench, and Coast Guard only has 4 or 5 players available on the bench. The Beacons have already shown they'll go 8 to 10 deep past the starting lineup.
Quinones with the spin and the finish off the rebound from Grossi.
I mean, certainly you have to push the tempo down by 21. You only have so many possessions if you keep playing at a slow tempo, but in terms of cutting into the deficit, might not actually benefit them.
Beacon's biggest lead of the game at 21. Grossi another rebound.
The other thing is the Beacons are much better in transition.
Jelani Jackson now in to run the point, gets it to Dixon. Dixon up to Matthew. They want Grossi in the post, can't get it there yet. Dixon's going to jack up a corner three. Just not quite enough on it. Offensive rebound, Grossi. No, Dixon with the follow, yes.
And Grossi's just such a handful in the post right there that 2 Coast Guard players trying to block her out. She gets the offensive rebound nonetheless, unable to finish, but Jackson and Dixon were wide open on the weak side, able to get the rebound and an easy finish.
Irish guarded by Dixon. Dixon hounding her. Into the post, Farrington, no, but she got hit. The 2 chances at the line for Coast Guard. Neither team has gotten the line particularly much. This will be Coast Guard's 13th and 14th shots. The Beacons been just 7 times, not yet in this half.
Coast Guard's gotten more aggressive, though, Alex. We didn't see them take a free throw in the first quarter. They've had 14 now through about the last 2 quarters. Still 3 minutes left here in quarter number 3. So that's an adjustment that they've made, being more aggressive going to the hoop. I think the Beacons occasionally do bail out the Bears just throwing a hand in when they don't need to.
Farrington, one of the few Coast Guard freshmen, has made an impact off the bench. That last free throw gives her a team-high 8 points. 3 of 5 from the field. It's her first trip to the line. Freshman from East Northport, New York. Misses the second. And Grossi in with the rebound, her 6th. And she's 6 rebounds away from a double-double. Dixon going to take a 3 in front of the bench. Yes! Nothing but net. Joyner gives it off to Farrington, who's been the hottest hit. Now Farrington the pass to Bray. It's a kicked ball off of Dixon. 56-31. Beacons on top. 25 points, their largest lead of the game.
And the Beacons are going to bring out 2 of their returners, Naira Mitchell, who saw a lot of run time in that first half, Gianna Williams, and the 5th player out there is Allie Love. So now every available player for UMass Boston is played, and we still have 12 minutes and 51 seconds left here in regulation.
Love, a freshman from Winthrop, Massachusetts.
Allie's another one of those players coming off an injury. The Beacons have a slew of them amongst their freshman class.
We've got a foul against Raven Kelsey. That will be her 2nd. Fresh shot clock, 30 seconds here for Coast Guard. Wood gets it in. Farrington. Backside pass. Jumper around the world and out. And it's Love with the rebound. Coming out to her left. They're going to give her the 3. She's going to take it. No. Came up short. Saved by Williams. Nobody there, though. Beacons already started heading the other way. Love seemed unsure of what to do. She had a wide open point-blank 3. That pass is intercepted by Kelsey. Kelsey coming up the floor with purpose. Gets it to Williams. Back out. Love trying again and missed short for the 2nd time.
I think that's a little bit of nerves. She's laughing at herself right now. And Allie's just going to ask for the ball in the next possession and hopefully find at least a little bit of the iron.
Whitney Fulton coming to the table. Joyner's shot is short, so we've had 3 come up and miss the rim here in the last 3 possessions.
Yeah, that's an auspicious start as Allie's going to take a seat, talk to the coaches real quick.
Can only go up from here.
Hey, I'm sure we're going to see more of Allie the rest of the way. And part of it might just be knowing your skill set. I don't know if Allie's a 3-point shooter. I haven't seen enough of her yet, but went a little bit short with those first 2 looks.
Fulton in the corner, lobs it into Williams. Goes up through the contact, can't get it to go, and loses out on the rebound. Farrington, Coast Guard's freshman, in space, drops it back. Wood, no good but the foul.
Yeah, Gianna Williams coming back a little bit late. The Beacons are getting a little bit sloppy defensively. Too many reach-ins here. This is a really young group, though. This is 2 seniors, but 3 freshmen who didn't see as much time there in that first half is Fulton, Mitchell, and Williams. It's really interesting, Alex. I mean, still a lot of time left in this game, but the Beacons play again on Friday against Colby at UMass Dartmouth, and then Saturday against Riviere. This Beacons team is going to learn a lot about themselves just this week alone, as they get 3 games in less than 5 days.
And the frantic substitutions while getting everybody on the floor also gets everybody off the floor. That's a lot of games to play in a short span. They're going to be rested going into those contests.
Yeah, I mean, you look at just this weekend alone, the Beacons will play at 2 at UMass Dartmouth on Friday against against Colby, and then they play less than 24 hours later, a noon start against Riviere. So it's good to be able to go 10, 12, 15 deep so that you don't have players playing 80 minutes in less than 26 hours.
Girton is going to be called for the foul here. That is her second. 0 of 9 from the floor, Gillian Girton. And she has struggled in the first game of her senior season. Averaged 12 and 9 last year. 39% from the field. Knocked down a 3 or 2. She's 0 for 2 from deep tonight. Does have 4 rebounds, but that's all her stat line shows.
Yeah, I think Coast Guard's going to want to do over. The good thing for them is they have 4 straight home games coming out of this season opener. So going home, potentially a chance to get things right. They'll host Salve Regina on Friday night at 7.
Kelsey back out to Mitchell. She walked.
Yeah, Nair's one of those players who's obviously trying to get that confidence up, thinking a little bit too much on that play. And again, she's missed time. The Beacons weren't sure if they were going to have her tonight after she missed time in practice the last couple of weeks. That practice, especially for the freshmen, is huge during preseason, especially their first preseason.
Vital was fouled, charging in towards the basket. Looks like this call is going to be on the floor. Beacons, meanwhile, 1 foul away from the bonus.
I think Jill Bray's asking, what more do you want me to do? She ran into me. I was trying to go straight up. That's 3 now on Bray. But again, when you're a smaller player, sometimes you get the benefit of the call, and Vital is certainly one of the smaller players on the floor.
Lobbed out to Kelsey. 50 seconds to go in the quarter. Kelsey. Oh, that was nice.
Might have been a bit of a forced shot, but if you hit it, the coach is going to be fine with it. She was in amongst the trees and able to knock down the shot thanks to the glass.
Open 3 for Bray, no good. Bears come up with the rebound. Girton trying to direct the offense, moves to her right. Hands it off to Bray. Bray off the spin. Out of bounds, Bears ball.
Girton plays a weird role in this offense. The team's leading scorer from a year ago averaged 12.5, but she's been playing a lot of point forward, trying to open up the Beacons defense from the top of the key. 0 for 9 on the day with 0 points. That's partially credit just to a poor shooting night, but also the Beacons have done a nice job of keeping her away from the basket.
Drives baseline, the turnaround is good. Her first basket of the night, and you see right there at least a flash of what she can do for this team.
Can't ask for much more from the Beacons defense. Kelsey came over with some help side defense, with Mitchell losing her spot a little bit, but just a nice finish over Nair Mitchell.
At the buzzer, no, just short. Kelsey looking for the last second drama, doesn't get it. As we make the turn for home here in Boston, it's Beacons 58, Coast Guard 37. Keep it here on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame,
or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
As we hit the start of the fourth quarter, Coast Guard with the ball moving left to right, Beacons moving right to left for the final 10 minutes. That shot is long from Girton, so she gets her first basket to go after 9 misses, then misses her second. Coming up the floor, offensive foul is going to go against Mazik.
Good aggressive move. Girton, though, able to get there first. She seems to be in a little bit of pain after taking the charge. Another Beacons unit. This is the third different unit that Chris Ball has used in the past 3 to 4 minutes of game time. The Beacons sent out their starters, or the starters they had in there, with about 2:51 left in the third quarter, and now that group comes off to start the fourth quarter as Girton has to come off, and she'll head back over to her bench.
Joyner will bring it up, guarded by Jackson. Meets her at half court. Hop stepping back, trying to cut her to her left. Wood. One dribble inside to Bray. Bray hounded by Grossi. The turnaround off the glass. No. Offensive rebound for Wood. Kicks it out for the three. Got it.
Big issue when you give up those offensive rebounds is the defense has to scramble to get back into position. That left Barrington wide open. So I believe that was Wood, and the Beacons give up the easy three.
Barrington, the one bright spot for Coast Guard thus far. 3 of 6 from the field, 8 points. That's a team high. Grossi. Ball on the floor, drops it back. Jackson, no. Quinones almost got to that rebound. Looking to get it inside. Oh, what a interception by Joey Grossi.
Yeah, just read it perfectly, recognizing that that was the only place Coast Guard was going to think to go.
Quinones drives baseline, the up and under for 2. Beacons up 60-40 with 8:33 to go. Their largest lead, 25 points right now. It sits at 20.
Alicia's looked really aggressive today, getting to the hoop. Has done a really nice job of just not backing down. UMass Boston's had a slew of different players contribute offensively. Grossi had 12 points, most of them early on in the first 2 quarters. Yet to score here in the second half, and the Beacons still lead by 18.
It was 23-9 after the first quarter. The Beacons haven't looked back. Jackson. Guarded by Joyner, gets a screen to her right, has a lane to the basket, instead is going to flip it out, the three-pointer. Misses short. Joyner with 7:50 to go in the game. Barrington.
I'd love to see the Beacons get St. Cyr a little bit more involved offensively. Hasn't seen many touches since that first time she checked in back in the second quarter.
Has 3 rebounds. That's her whole stat line tonight in limited minutes. Looks like it's going to be a full platoon swap, or at least 3 in, 3 out for Coast Guard, and a one-way sub for the Beacons. And now who's that coming to the table late? Looks like that's Williams.
So Williams for St. Cyr, and Megan Dixon, the other sub, checking in for Tajay Mazik.
Dixon has more shots than anybody else tonight. 4 of 9 from the floor, 1 of 3 from deep. She has 9 points. Quinones and Grossi, the only Beacons in double figures. Farrington with 11, the only one in double figures for Coast Guard. No good. Offensive rebound, blocked, and a foul. A little bit of a late whistle there will send Martinelli to the line.
Well, that's just a little frustrating because it looked like Gianna Williams gave a lot more contact on the block, the first block there, than she did on the second one, but she's called for the foul. The few Coast Guard fans in attendance tonight were upset with the lack of a call in the first attempt. Alex, it's interesting. UMass Boston seems to be very content with their top 12 in their rotation today. We've seen the 7 players who were closest in the bench to Chris Baugh play pretty regularly, and then 2 or 3 players at the end of the bench who have seen time but not as much of it. It's scary to think because UMass Boston doesn't have Shania Osborne in uniform tonight, who's supposed to be one of the best players in this freshman class, and Maya Doherty, who she can get healthy. The Beacons were really high on her last year, but she missed the season due to an ACL injury. This Beacons team could run 14 or 15 deep, which is very difficult to defend, especially if the Beacons can keep this pace going.
Williams in the post, a jump ball. You know, I got like whiplash with all these jump balls trying to keep track of which way the ball is going. This one's going to stay with the Beacons.
It's been a little bit inconsistent, I think. I think there's been instances where players have gone straight up and been called for fouls versus the jump balls.
Offensive rebound off the Miss Dixon 3. Vital goes left to right. Comes around the screen, off the end of the fingers, and just rolled out of the rim. Trying to go Isaiah Thomas there.
It's a great move, just unable to finish. The Beacons have left some points on the board today.
Deep 3, yes, finds the bottom of the net.
That's Reese Fallica's first point since the first quarter when she scored the first 7 for Coast Guard. As a team high, well, now has 10 points, second player to double digits, but another player who Coast Guard would like to see a little bit more from offensively going forward.
4 for 11 from the field. No call on that one. They get out to Grossi, puts it on the floor, quickly gives it up. Now in the quarter, contested 3, goes long. The rebound for Dixon. With 1 on the shot clock, the ball never hit the rim, and it will go back to Coast Guard.
Yeah, UMass Boston's got to recognize that. Williams got the offensive rebound with 4 seconds left. She's got to recognize that she's got to go up with it. Beacons didn't have time to get it back to Vital. All of a sudden, it's a 13-point game with 6 minutes left, and that's why Raven Kelsey's back out there. Beacons led by as many as 23 in that third quarter, went into the fourth leading by 18.
Gillian Girton back in the game as well after she had to come off a little banged up earlier. Here she is in the post working on Williams, turns it around, kisses it off the glass, finds the bottom, and will get to the line. Chance to make it a 10-point game with 5:54 to go in the fourth quarter.
It's as close as Coast Guard's been since the Beacons went on that big run in the first quarter to push the lead to 23-9. This is where an experienced team like Coast Guard can cause the Beacons problems. UMass Boston's got to score, and I like what Chris Baugh's doing right now. She's going to bring Katie Matthew back out, probably to replace Gianna Williams. Use those returners as much as possible.
From 25 down to 10. Beacons need some offense. Grossi, three-pointer, no. Kelsey cleans it up, rolls off the back of the rim and out. Beacons are going to swarm here defensively, breaking the trap as Girton gets it up ahead. Martinelli's shot is blocked by Dixon. It will stay with the Bears.
Nice athletic adjustment there by Dixon. She had her player go by her, but was able to get all ball from behind. Typically that leads to a foul call unless it's 100% clean. And right now, with the exception of Alecia Quinones, the Beacons using all 5 of their starters here with 5.5 remaining.
They have Dixon in the game in place of her. Maybe looking for a little bit of an offensive spark plug. This one will be out off of the Beacons again. Bray will inbound once more. Fresh shot clock, 30 seconds, 5:21 on the game clock. Catch and shoot is good, and all of a sudden, here we go. Girton is heating up. That's her 6th and 7th points of the night. And the Beacons' lead has been cut to 8. UMass Boston has to take a timeout. 5:09 to go in the fourth quarter. The Beacons holding off the charging Bears. Keep it here for the finish on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity. There's a lot of people. Here there is a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, or it's so much better to have like an advisor helping you out, like telling you which classes to choose.
We talked about Gillian Girton starting to heat up, who is normally the center of the Bears offense. She had been 0 for 9. She hit her first shot with 51 seconds to go in the third quarter. Since then, 4:58 has come off the clock, and it has been a 15-2 run by the Bears, including 7 of those 15 from Girton.
And UMass Boston has gotten good looks. They just haven't been able to connect around the basket. Right now, I think you have to run a set for either Kelsey or Joey Grossi. Try to get one of those players an easy look.
Inside to Grossi, the contact layup, no call, and the basket doesn't go. I'm not sure what Raven Kelsey was assigned to do on that play. She was standing out near half court.
I don't really understand the no call there. We've seen a lot of very little contact called. Looked like there was a hard shoulder into Grossi, unable to get the call.
And that pass was deflected towards Martinelli. They look to be looking for Girton down in the post.
I think Vital was able to knock that one away, just wasn't able to knock it into the hands of one of her teammates. She was out on the break hoping that she was going to see a football pass come her way.
Bray gets it in. Falica, and the foul by Martinelli off the pass from Falica. A foul on Martinelli from Grossi. That's going to be Grossi's third.
That's 5 fouls in the quarter, all on UMass Boston. So this means that Coast Guard's going to shoot the double bonus here for the final 4:36. Alecia Quinones waiting to check on. She'll likely replace Dixon, so the Beacons will have their starting 5 out there. The Beacons need a bucket.
First one is good. Down to 7. It's a 16-2 run for Coast Guard. Kelsey to Quinones on the near side corner. Matthew, ball over her head, gets it to Kelsey. Kelsey, the up fake, going to try to drive through the double team. She lost the ball heading to the floor. It's tied up. It's going to be a jump ball possession with the Bears.
Kelsey just put her head down there, was determined to get to the basket. You can't try to play a little bit of hero ball right now. Use your teammates, and that's a bad turnover as the Beacons could be looking at a one-possession game if Coast Guard's able to knock down a 3 right now.
Raven Kelsey's been laboring a bit since coming out of that last timeout. Something to keep an eye on. She seems in between whistles to have a little trouble walking around.
She's played more minutes than most of the Beacons. She's also taken a couple of hacks and some hits here and there.
Moulinar.
I think they're going to call a hand check on Kelsey. And
they are.
It's frustrating in that while that's the correct call, there have been a couple no calls during this sequence, during this 17-2 sequence, where it looks like a Beacon's gone up and taken a little bit of a hack and not been given the call. Gianna Williams, they called it a jump ball. We saw it earlier, Joey Grossi out of that timeout. If you're going to call the slightest of contacts, even if it's within the lay of the law, you got to give it when a player's trying to come up with a swat and gets a little bit of the hand as well.
First one misses here. A chance for Moulinar to close it to 5. She is 0 for 3 from the stripe thus far. 0 for 4.
And she is the player you want to foul if you're going to foul. She has a very interesting shooting stroke.
62% at the line last year. Grossi's going to get herself to the line. Will be her third trip. She's 2 of 4.
Well, that might have been a bit of a makeup call because Grossi was struggling to control the ball. but was given the benefit of the doubt there, and this is huge. We talked about it during the Open. UMass Boston is focused so much under Chris Ball on improving their free throw percentage. They haven't shot it that well today, haven't taken that many strokes. They need to hit these free throws down the stretch. That's how you close a team out, especially in a close game like we have right now.
First one is good, and a timeout taken on the floor, 61-54. Beacon's looking to hold off a late charge. Keep it here on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
People at UMass Boston, they're here because they know they can have an impact, not just on research, but on people, on their students.
This is just a starting point. It only has potential to grow, and it has a big potential to grow up.
You're really having a direct impact on people's lives, and you can see that now, and you can see that years from now.
So I think it's becoming like the place that people want to go. What UMass Boston is able to offer to its young people certainly stands out to that mission that was set right out in the beginning. It's something UMass Boston should be and can be very proud about.
Back from the break, 61-54. Joey Grossi at the line. She misses her second attempt. She was 1 of 2 on that possession. So she gets the lead back up to 7.
Mismatch with Matthew on Girton on the left block.
They see it. They get it there. Girton with Grossi helping through the contact. No good. Rebound bounces around, comes out to Quinones. 3:34 to go. The Beacon's still pushing. And Seth, would you like to see them slow it down here a little bit?
I just want them to get a good look within the context of their offense. If UMass Boston needs to push to get good looks, which they've done a lot today, that's fine. But you want to get an easy look within your offense.
Grossi's going to get a look at an open 3. She gets it to go. Joey Grossi with 16 on the night. The Beacons go back up 10.
And that's a good look. We've seen Grossi hit a couple of them wide open and able to make the play.
There's going to be a foul called against Lydia Vital. That will be her 3rd. She had 2 in the first quarter, so did a good job of holding off since then. Nothing wrong with 3 fouls with 3 minutes to go in the game.
No, and that's her style of defense. If you're an all-defensive player in the LEC, you got to be doing something right, and she's smaller than you. It's going to be difficult for her to be a really good defensive threat in the post, but she's got really active hands. We've seen her poke the ball away from Coast Guard players a couple of times today, and she used her speed to stay in front. So we're going to see the Beacons go really small right now. Jackson in for Matthew. And this shows a lot of confidence in Jelani Jackson, who we haven't seen as much of here in half number 2.
Jackson 1 of 4 from the field tonight. She does have 4 assists, and that is a team high. Backdoor to Jackson. She kept it in bounds. Is that ball still in bounds? No.
No, otherwise we would have had a jump ball, but Vital diving on it. It was a good effort there from Vital, reading it for Jackson, but a Coast Guard player got into the passing lane. Both teams missing free throws here, while Coast Guard's had a ton more looks. Coast Guard, at this point, 14 of 25. The Beacons just 3 of 9. They only have 1 practice between today and the tournament down at UMass Dartmouth. I'm sure they're going to be taking a lot of free throws.
Off the glass, Martinelli for 2. Back down to 8, 64-56, 2.5 to go.
It's a good job by Coast Guard recognizing that Vital was down on the block. That's where you want to take advantage of the Beacons' defense.
Jackson steps back, gets space, gets it to Quinones. Quinones back to Jackson. 12 on the shot clock. Poked away by Martinelli. Beacons will inbound with 9 to shoot. Inbound will come from the far side in front of the bench. Quinones will trigger. Through the screen, they get it to Vital. 8 on the shot clock. Moving to her left. 5 seconds, has to do something with it. Kelsey hesitates, step back, 3, no.
Too much from Raven Kelsey there. No reason to do the step back, just take the initial shot. The defender was giving you space. I think Raven's just a little bit tired right now. She has her hands on her knees. Still 2 minutes left. UMass Boston, a comfortable spot.
It's a shame Quinones got in perfect position for the offensive rebound, had that ball hit the rim, and the Beacons could have gotten the clock down below a minute and a half. Coast Guard will miss here, and the Beacons can really start to drain the time. You saw Jackson just kind of pull up there. She recognized the situation. 1:43 left on the game clock, 20 seconds on the shot clock. Jackson now being hounded by the Bears.
And Coast Guard can't give fouls because they have to give 4 of them to force the Beacons into shooting free throws.
Vital calling for a screen, gets it from Grassi, 7 on the shot clock, kicks it to the corner. Kelsey going to go straight up with it this time, off the far rim, no. Quinones, the offensive rebound, loses it. Raven Kelsey coming in with the aggressive play to keep the ball. Fresh 30 for the Beacons with 1:15 to go. And a foul given by Coast Guard. Maybe now they start to rack that foul count up. That would be their second of the quarter.
Well, Raven Kelsey just went full-on battering ram as she went through 2 players. Zoe Reese-Falica was slow to get up after that one. I think Kelsey ended up landing on her ankle. The good news there, though, for UMass Boston was even if Kelsey wasn't able to rip it away, the possession arrow on their side, and now Coast Guard has to give the fouls. You just want to take as much time as possible and keep it in the hands of your better free throw shooters.
Vital almost lost it. She dribbles herself into the corner. She'll be fouled there by Bray. Vital, pretty good free throw shooter last year, 78% at Keene.
Kelsey was a good free throw shooter a year ago. Matthew, a good free throw shooter.
If the Beacons want to pick on somebody, it should be Bray. She already has 3 fouls. So you could get her in a near foul-out situation. This one's given by Martinelli. It will be her 3rd.
But the problem is precious seconds coming off. Even if it's 3 or 4 on each of these inbounds, means you have that little time going forward, as that was the 4th foul in Coast Guard. So this next foul will lead to the Beacons shooting 2.
1:05 to go in the game. Shot clock at a fresh 30. Doesn't really matter at this point. Martinelli applies the foul, and we will see Lydia Vital go to the line. First trip to the stripe so far tonight. She has 7 points, 3 of 5 from the field. She has it a 3, has added 2 rebounds and 3 assists. And the first one is good. That stretches the lead to 9. Coast Guard's going to take a timeout in a 9-point game. 1:03 to go. Beacon 65. Coast Guard 56. You could just feel the energy as Coast Guard had marched back. Just fly out of that bench as Vital hit that first free throw.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at UMass Boston, you're such a young squad. When it was such a big run for Coast Guard, instead of the Beacons jumping off the bench with every timeout, some of the players farther down the bench were, you could see it, the smiles were gone. They were a little bit worried this game was going to get out of reach. And the Beacons using their defense, they haven't executed here in the 4th quarter. We talked about it off air. Well, Coast Guard hadn't scored more than 14 points in the corner. We thought there's no way that Coast Guard comes back. But the Beacons defensively, while their offense has struggled, they've been able to do just enough defensively to hold off this Coast Guard charge. Not a surprise coming from a senior-laden squad.
Back to the line for the second free throw from Vital. 1:03 to go in the game. Beacons lead by 9. She can push it back to double digits. Beacons led by as many as 25 in this game. Back rimmed it. Beacons only sent 3 in for the rebound. They left 2 players, Matthew and Quinones, all the way back down the other end of the floor. Curtin driving in with the right hand, tries to dish it back door. Can't get it there. Coast Guard will step off. And now they come up and apply the foul.
And right now, I think the biggest thing Christina Ball wants to see in the last 48.7 seconds, other than the fact that those 48.7 seconds go quickly, is for one of her players to hit 2 straight free throws. That's been the biggest. I mean, UMass Boston has left so many points on the board. You talk about free throws. You talk about some of their missed bunnies down low. This game never should have been this close.
2 of 7 at the line at the half. Now 4 of 12 for the game after that miss. Beacons overall, the shooting percentage has been good, better than it was last year. They shot 40%, 27 of 67 from the field. Held their opponents to 30%, 19 of 62. That's 2 misses from Vital. And Coast Guard will take another timeout.
So she dropped. So she just missed 3 of 4 as Christina Ball's trying to
3 in a row, too.
Locate exactly where the ball's going to be after a Coast Guard player dribbled and then Coast Guard calling the timeout. But the good news for UMass Boston is they were able to withstand it, assuming there's not a huge comeback here in the final 46 seconds. And now they can turn their eyes to the road. Colby, Riviere, Fisher. They're going to face a difficult test in Colby, a team that they've played each of the last 2 years, earned a win last year in Waterville. This Beacons team could have a chance to get off to a really good start, get some confidence under their belt before they head to Keene State on the 2nd of December. The biggest thing when you're talking about Division III sports, especially in a conference like the Little East, it's typically a one-bid conference. Last year they got multiple bids, and UMass Dartmouth had a great year. Keene State got to the tournament for the first time. Eastern's had a lot of success the past couple years, is having success in conference play. So these first 6 games for the Beacons, all about getting ready. I think this will be a good test for them, seeing a team come back, having to deal with that. And now it's trying to get on a little bit of roll, as the benefit of having this many players, we talked about it. If you have 15 players you can play, it's going to help you when you play back-to-back days, or 3 games in 5 days, 4 games in 7.
Coast Guard will inbound on the near side. Ball will be advanced. Bray will throw it in.
Coast Guard doesn't have that benefit. They open conference play at the end of the month. In their 4th game of the year, they'll host Springfield on the 29th.
That one's thrown away. Beacons will get it back, 44.6. No, the official pointed down the, there we go. Had pointed down the floor, and we have another timeout, 44.6 to go. The road ahead for the Beacons. Talked about this at halftime. It's that you talked about a little bit, the UMass Dartmouth tournament this upcoming weekend with games Friday and Saturday. They are then on the road at Fisher College on the 21st. The next home games, they will have 2, the 28th and 30th of November against Becker College and Fitchburg State, before opening up conference play on the road at Keene first week of December.
And that'll be a good one. You know that Lydia Vital is going to want that win. Keene State coming off their first NCAA appearance as a Division III program. They lost a decent amount of players from last year's team. So it'll be a chance for the Beacons. If they can get a win there, they won last year in double overtime at Keene. Then they host Rhode Island College, a team that was picked dead last in the conference. You can head into winter break 2-0 in conference. You're going to have a lot of confidence with such a young group.
They get it in. Quinones in the near corner. She's fouled with 42.8 to go. And down 9, Coast Guard pushing the issue here.
Well, it's a chance for Quinones to add to her stat total. She's had a really nice game under the radar. 10 points, 9 rebounds. And again, Alex, free throws. They're going to be so important this year for this Beacons team, as that one is actually the 5th foul on Michaela Martinelli, who wasn't trying to give the foul at that point.
Quinones' first free throw of the year is good. She was 62% last season. That puts the lead back to 10.
10 to Beacons hit 2 in a row.
Yes.
Took a while. Probably a lot longer than Chris Ball wanted, but 39 minutes and 20 seconds in, the Beacons finally do it.
3-pointer from Coast Guard. Makes it an 8-point game. They're going to press. And Grossi is fouled.
This is the 5th time this quarter that the referees have called a foul when the players weren't trying to give it. And you've seen these bemused looks on the defenders. And I'm not trying to call out the referees, but it's so difficult every year. If you're not familiar with the NCAA, they give out these new points of emphasis. They're not new rules, but points of emphasis. This year it's going to be you can't have the hand anywhere on the player's body, or we're going to really focus on the inner circle. And clearly the players are a little frustrated with the amount of minimal contact it's taken for some of these ticky-tack fouls on both sides today.
Grossi knocks down the first free throw. 4 of 7. Make it 5 of 8, 18 points in the college debut of Joey Grossi.
It's 4 in a row for the Beacons.
That one's lobbed out of play. 31 seconds to go. Beacons lead 69-59. Looks like Coast Guard will pressure the ball again.
Well, if nothing else, it's a teaching moment for Alex Ivanchek.
They get up to Raven Kelsey, who was left all alone on the backside. Up to Grossi. Grossi to Quinones. And Coast Guard will give the foul. It's Farrington. Sending the Beacons to the lineup 10.
And Matthew has a chance to get into double figures in her senior season debut if she's able to hit both of these free throws.
It's her first trip to the line tonight. She knocks down the first. Last season, 60% from the stripe.
Beacons have a chance to go over 50% of the day from the free throw line if they can hit 6 in a row.
Almost. Make it 8 of 18 for the game. Fight for the ball in the corner. It's going to be another jump ball.
And it'll stay with the Beacons.
.5 to go. See if Coast Guard fouls again, down 11. The officials need to discuss something here.
Might be blood potentially on the jersey of Grossi. That's one of the few things that could cause a inspection right now as they try to figure out who in particular is bleeding. Looks like there might be a little bit of blood on Grossi's right shoulder.
Yeah, she wants to stay in the game. She's pleading in case she will stay in the game. It's rare you see that and then the player's not taken out. Quinones to Kelsey.
Shot clock turned off at this point.
Quinones lost it, gets it back, gets it away. 8 seconds to go. Vital is going to dribble around in front of the Beacon bench. 3 seconds, 2 and 1, and that's your ball game. The Beacons survive a late charge from the Coast Guard Bears, but they pick up the win in their season opener, 70-59. UMass Boston improves to 1-0 on the season, and Coast Guard falls to 0-1. We'll step aside here real quick. We'll be back with head coach Christina Baugh. Don't go anywhere. The post-game show starts now on the Beacon Broadcast Network.
2-2 pitch swung on and missed.
Kyle Strowski from Agawam, Massachusetts. I'm a senior here at UMass Boston. I'm a marketing major. Probably have to say my favorite moment was my no-hitter my freshman year. Being a freshman, especially just making a statement right away. Seeing the reactions on the seniors' faces. It was something that was a lot of fun to be a part of. If you want to play and you want to compete for a championship every year, definitely UMass Boston is a good place to come look at.
And now this one's launched right center field. That's going to win the game for the Beacons. It is down.
LEC is probably best division in college D3 baseball in the country. Play against the top competition every year. I think we have a top 10 schedule in the country this year. So we're young, but we also mix in with a good group of junior college transfers. Being on the baseball team here at UMass is a good experience, great experience. Only about 2% of people can play college baseball, and one that I'll take for me for the rest of my life.
Kyle Fields fires the first great scoop from Jason Cholin.
It's hard not to get emotional at a UMass graduation. It is amazing to see what UMass graduates accomplish once they leave the university. You see that UMass is here for the Commonwealth, here for a reason.
The UMass Boston Beacons baseball team, who went 23-15 this year and have consistently been a leader in their conference without having a home field to play on. That will change next season.
I am so happy and excited to join Boston College High School and your wonderful president to celebrate this symbol of our institution's friendship as well as our shared commitment to this special neighborhood. Not only are we thrilled to be building a new ballpark with our neighboring teams and for all of our neighboring teams, but we could not be happier to provide more space. It's not just for us, Father Monin. It's for the youth of Dorchester and South Boston to be able to play as well. So your field will be used by quite a few of us for so many wonderful things.
But my hope is that the sound of the bat that's so irresistible to us at Fenway Park will echo through this field and will call further together the academic communities of BC High and of UMB.
We're here with head coach Christina Barnout. Coach, what'd you guys do to hold off that late run from Coast Guard?
Oh, man. It's a game of runs, and when we went on ours, they cut it to 8, we hit a couple shots, and that kind of spread it back open.
Joey Grossi, 18 points in her debut. She was the only freshman in the starting lineup. Is she somebody you can lean on for scoring throughout the season?
I think you know the answer to that, but absolutely, man. Like I said, she's a mismatch problem and plays with so much composure through the ups and the downs of the game. So, hopefully, every night is someone different. That's what we're hoping.
What does it say about your young team that you guys were able to keep your cool heads during that run and able to hold it off?
It says a lot. It says that we're growing. We didn't do that in one of our scrimmages, so it was nice to see them do that tonight.
One more day off before your next game. How much of this next practice is going to be spent on free throws?
All of it.
Well, there you hear it. A lot of free throws coming for the Beacons. Thank you very much, Coach. Keep it here. We'll be back on the other side with the final stats and numbers. Burton tries to answer with the three, can't do it. Oh, what a nice spin move right there from Lydia Vital. Gets it over to Dixon, who lost control, recovers the floater, and the lane is good. Kissed it off the glass. Found her 6. And she's 6 rebounds away from a double-double. Dixon going to take a 3 in front of the bench. Yes! Nothing. Bounded by Grossi. The turnaround off the glass. No offensive rebound for Wood. Kicks it out for the 3. Got it. Interception by Joey Grossi.
Yeah, just read it perfectly, recognizing that that was the only place Coast Guard was going to think to go.
Quinones drives baseline, the up and under for 2. After she had to come off a little banged up earlier, here she is in the post working on Williams, turns it around, kisses it off the glass.
In your offense.
Grossi's going to get a look at an open 3. She gets it to go.
Changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Welcome back. You heard Coach Baugh talk about the free throws there at the end of the interview. Take a look at the team stats. Beacon's free throw number a little lower than what they want at 47%. Everything else, though, only as you can hope for the season opener.
Yeah, I think you look at UMass Boston in this one, and while they didn't do as well in the second half as they did in the first half offensively, still pretty respectable numbers, 40.3% from the field after a 15% mark in that fourth quarter. The Beacons outscoring Coast Guard in the paint, though, 30-12. Did a nice job, 17 points off the bench. And the Beacons actually forced more turnovers than they turned the ball over, which is very impressive when you talk about 15 new faces on this Beacons roster.
Joey Grossi led all scorers with 18 points. The team high for Coast Guard was the freshman Brenna Farrington with 14, so you have freshmen leading the way each way. Alecia Quinones added 12 points, 9 boards. She comes up 1 rebound short of a double-double. Jackson with 4 assists. How about Raven Kelsey with 4 steals? She was tenacious tonight defensively.
Yeah, I think Raven Kelsey had a really nice game. Kelsey offensively didn't have her best game with 6 points and 6 turnovers, but she had 8 rebounds, 4 steals, and assists. I mean, these Beacons leaders, even if they don't have great games statistically, their experience and being able to calm down the younger players is going to be so important these first 5 to 10 games, especially when the Beacons get into conference play.
The Beacons have the day off tomorrow. Then they will head down to UMass Dartmouth for a back-to-back as part of the UMass Dartmouth tournament to open the season. And after, they will not start conference play until December 12th. All right, that will do it for us. Of course, we have some people we'd like to thank. Been listening to us, the app, all these people who make it look so good. Rachel Maslak, Anthony Carasuto, Alyssa Fugel on the instant replay. Seth Orensky, of course, right beside me. Josh, Giovanna, and Cassidy on the cameras. For everybody, I'm Alex Bart. This has been a presentation of the Beacon Broadcast Network. We will see you tomorrow night. Men's basketball against Norwich gets underway. For an update on that, a recap of this game, highlights, and more, you can visit beaconathletics.com. or follow them on Twitter at UMass Beacons. Final score one more time, UMass Boston 70, Coast Guard Academy 59. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Have a good one, everybody.